What's going on, everybody? This is Josh McCarty and Stokes from Built in Buffalo. And on today's video, we are going to talk about the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, and whether we think the Bills should be in the market for a new OC this offseason. Stokes, it was an interesting year for the first year offensive coordinator as Ken Dorsey and the Bills were actually second in the league in points and yards. And when you put the stats side by side with Brian Dable from 2021, there are a lot of similarities, but I think when it comes down to the eyeball test, Dorsey's offense did leave a lot to be desired.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look at the season by season, you look the scoring percentage, 45% of the drives, third down conversion was up. The run pass ratio is very similar. If you look at Josh's yards, Motors yards, like all these things, if you told Buffalo Bills fans, hey, these would be the stats this year, would you take it? And I think most people would say yes. But when you watch a game, you just say, well, this doesn't look like what I saw 2 years ago. And I think that's part of learning the job, but also part scheme. And I also think that just the timeliness of some of the mistakes that were made greatly weigh into our vision of what the season was.
And to your point, Brandon Beane even mentioned in his end of season press conference that it really felt like after the Bills bye week, they had a hard time putting a full game together offensively. And it did feel like they were on the decline as the season went on. And that was on full display in the playoff game when the Bills had a fully healthy starting 11. That was their starting 11 from week one against the Rams. And they managed to score 10 points against the Cincinnati Bengals. Stokes, you never want to overreact to one game, but when you see a slide like that, it's hard not to think that defenses were picking up on what the Bills were doing.
Yeah, I think so. And when you look at the differences between what Zach Taylor was doing, so a lot of the times you would see they had like a drag route and then an over route right over top of it, where either our linebackers or Taron Johnson had to make a decision what he's going to cover, and then Joe Burrow would just go to the other one. And I don't know if that is something that Ken Dorsey is willing to put into the offense, or if it's something that Josh is comfortable doing, and it could be a situation where Josh is comfortable running a certain kind of offense, and that's what he wants, or it could be the personnel. So it's just a matter of figuring out what that issue is, and just making sure we are better with that.
And looking at that Bengals game, PFF put out an article that the Bengals had perfect coverage on 66.67% of the snaps. That is the second highest by any team in the entire league all season long, which means they essentially knew the route combinations and the plays the Bills were going to run before they ran them. It is not all negative on Dorsey, though, Stokes. I did see an article written by Michael Nania of Jets X Factor talking about Mike LaFleur, the Jets ex-offensive coordinator. And the basis of the article was taking out the quality of the quarterback. How can you identify how good an offensive coordinator is? And there were four factors in that: wide open passes created, expected yardage on screens, the amount of free rushers allowed, and predictability. He looked at a lot of advanced metrics, and Dorsey actually ranked overall sixth in the entire league. And that is not counting the fact that he has an elite quarterback. It is the play design. And the only weakness he had was the amount of free rushers he let in. He was 25th in the league. So I don't think it's all negative on Dorsey, Stokes, but it sounds like we at least have enough reason, both of us, to think that the Bills should at least be looking behind door number two.
Yeah, I think that it's worth looking, but I also could foresee a situation where whoever comes in, if they were to move on, whoever comes in has a few weeks that are bad. Oh man, what did we do? Because I don't think Ken Dorsey would have an issue finding another job somewhere if he were to be let go, because the offense was good, or maybe it was Josh Allen being amazing. It just either way. I think that it is more probable that we would just see what's going to go forward with Ken Dorsey, just because I think the offense is likely to gel or continue to gel with Ken Dorsey. You would hope.
I think it's natural to expect some progression from year one to year two, not only with Dorsey's ability as a coordinator, but with he and Josh Allen getting on the same page. And obviously, we need a commitment from ownership, not ownership. We need a commitment from the front office to put more offensive pieces, both as far as passing game weapons and blockers in front of Josh Allen. Stokes, gun to your head. Should the Bills keep Dorsey or look behind door number two?
So I think the question would probably be from Brandon Bean to Josh Allen, and I feel like Josh Allen is too much of a "that's my guy" to say he wants to get rid of Ken Dorsey, because I think he wants to be the kind of like, hey, we went through the mud together, we did all this, we grew up, and we did all this together, and we're trying to win this championship for the Bills and for this entire staff. So I think that it's probably going to lean on Josh, and I can't see Josh saying get rid of Ken Dorsey.
For me, I don't want it to be change for the sake of change. I need to see an idea that makes sense. So I understand there's a pull for Joe Brady. He was a guy that was a hot name in the league prior to his stint under Matt Rule in Carolina that did not work out, and he is being looked out for the Los Angeles Chargers offensive coordinator job. But to me, Joe Brady would be facing a lot of the same challenges that Ken Dorsey faced in 2022. First year coordinator calling plays in Buffalo, first year with Josh Allen. I think all things being equal, I think they need to run it back with Ken Dorsey, put more weapons around him. And for him, I'd like to see him figure out a way to figure out the issue with the free rushers coming in at Josh Allen that was on full display against the Bengals. I'd like to see him also use a little bit more motion. Seth Walder from ESPN said the Bills were 19th in the league in pre-snap motion with some of the weapons they have, particularly Stephon Diggs, Naheem Hines, James Cook. That's such an advantage to get guys open. I don't think there's going to be a change here. I think what they need to count on growth from Dorsey. I don't think his year was perfect by any means. There's certainly some flaws there, but I think there's at least enough reason for optimism to think that if you get the right pieces around Dorsey, he can figure it out as a play caller. Let us know what you think in the comments. Should the Bills move on from Ken Dorsey? And who are some names out there that you'd like to see as offensive coordinator if they do fire Ken Dorsey? Please don't forget to like and comment and subscribe to this video below. And we will see you next time on Built in Buffalo Quick Hits.